Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. My name's Boston and I like to make sketch comedy in my free time. But I made the grave mistake of deciding to go to film school, where I would pay thousands of dollars to try to make it in an industry that's surely going to get taken over by computers in a couple of years. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking at times. When I got back to my hometown in the summer, I rewatched a lot of the skits that I had made during my first year, and I realized that they were not very good. They weren't too bad. I would say they were very mediocre. You know, I don't really know if mediocre can get you a job. And I talked about this so much that my mom actually suggested that I talk to somebody about it. I thought that was a great idea, so I decided to go out and talk to a bunch of random people in my town about how they measure their success versus their mediocreness. And then, you know, one thing led to another, and another, and another, and another, and eventually 3 months had passed, and I had filmed a little documentary about, I think it's about being mediocre. It took a couple of weird turns. Hi, I'm Boston Paquette. I'm a student filmmaker, and we're trying to make a documentary about what it means to be fulfilled or feel successful in life. So I asked one lady so far what she thought, how she would define what success is, and then she said that her son is an engineer. So I don't really.
Success?
Yeah.
Is family.
Family. All right. A lot of people have said that one. Family. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good one.
No, it's like a very deep question.
Yeah.
I would say probably like being happy.
Being happy. How do you think you, how are you happy? How do you get happy?
I love my family.
Family. A lot of people.
At the end of the day, you can be super successful, but if you don't love your family and your friends, it's not happy.
That's a nice answer. Thank you. Thank you.
That helps, but.
I ended up getting a variety of answers, but the main players were family, friends, trying again until you succeed, and church. So the only logical thing I could think to do was to test out these 4 ideas of success for myself. I started at the top of the list, so I asked my girlfriend of 2.5 months if she wanted to start a family.
Like, we got a couple different answers, but the one that people mostly said was family. So
Yes.
I was wondering if we could start a family, or have a couple of kids, soon for the video.
Okay, so I'm at work.
Unfortunately, she didn't seem too into it, so I just decided to move on. But luckily for me, next up on the list was friends. And extra lucky for me was during that summer, I worked with my hometown friends in apartment slums where we were the maintenance crew. I was actually pretty excited to be doing some work that was non-video related because I thought maybe I could stumble on something that I'd really like or that I would be miraculously really good at. But actually I wasn't a very good slum repairman either, so. But that's besides the point. Anyway, on break one day, I was able to try to get my friend's approval on one of my most recent videos.
We shot this scene at 2 in the morning on a Wednesday, and I had class at 9 on Thursday. You're not gonna understand what's happening No, I know.
They didn't seem too heavily engaged with my video, which was a little bit disappointing because I feel like I can never really impress them since I'm not into sports or gambling. Or the video might have just been bad, it could have been a poor video. So that's when I decided to take the advice I was given by the meat slicer at the local deli, which was, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. That night I decided that after both of my jobs, I was going to edit a video that I've been slacking on. I hopped onto my computer and got right to it. It was going pretty alright. I mean, I wasn't exactly the biggest fan of how I was editing it, and it did make me a little bit nervous for the outcome of the video. And as I watched the clips over and over and over, I found it less and less funny. And then I found myself eating more and more ramen and Cocoa Pebbles until it was around 2 in the morning and I just kind of called it. But as the guy behind the deli would have said, at least I tried again. The stress eating did ultimately make me bloated for the entirety of the next day, which was pretty annoying. I'm not a big fan that something I used to do out of love has now become a stressor instead of a way to just kick back and have some fun. But this was all about me becoming successful, and successful people do the thing they're good at a lot, which is why I decided for the next 10 days I was going to upload a sketch to YouTube every day. Because surely if I try again this many times, something good is bound to happen. Well, that backfired a little bit because those 10 days ended up being some of the worst performing days for Out of the Blue in the history of the channel. My own family barely even wanted to watch any of my videos. Somebody literally started commenting as added a hater on the sketches. I'm being so serious, I have no idea who this is. Around this time, my parents, my girlfriend, and I went on vacation to South Carolina. What a time. I was at the beach, I was eating ice cream, we were going to amusement parks, I was in a hotel suite with my girlfriend. I mean, everyone's vacation dream. But the dream was cut short when on the second night, I took a poop so big that it clogged the toilet so bad the entire hotel suite was flooded with toilet water, and the water sunk so deep into the floors that the Hilton actually needed to call maintenance to come rip up the floating floors and replace them. So, long story short, for the rest of the trip, my parents, girlfriend, and I shared a much smaller room with 2 beds side by side together. And well, 2 days later I actually clogged a toilet at a diner. It's a real shame to find out that I'm not even that good at pooping. But overall, the vacation was great, and getting back to the swing of things at home was extremely hard. Especially because I was cleaning out the crawl space of an old garage. I assumed that my lifespan shortened after being up there for 5 days, so I decided that it was the perfect time to try out the last piece of advice I was given. Church. I wasn't allowed to film in here, so I apologize for the lousy footage. But, I wouldn't exactly say this place helped me out too much. They made some interesting points, but none of it had to do with becoming successful.
Now when it gets to the point where people would rather come out of the closet than clean it, it's the sign the judgment of God is going to fall. If there's ever been a time to rise up, church, it's now. And as the blood-bought saints of the living God proclaim, that it's time to sound the alarm from the church house to the White House and say, we want God in America again!
However, they did talk about one very successful guy quite a bit. Even though I left that church pretty terrified, I realized Jesus might be one of the most successful people ever. Ask almost anyone if they know who Jesus is, and they all will say yes. He's seen as successful in the public's eye because he was the best at performing miracles in Capernaum nearly 2,000 years ago. I realized I'm not the best at making sketch comedy, so I will always be beat out by someone who's better than me. Therefore, I cannot be seen as someone who is successful at it. But what if I became successful in another field by beating someone else out of the top spot? To make sure my plan made sense, I spoke to someone who could definitively tell me how to be successful. A mental health consultant. I figured they would be the best at turning a mediocre person into a successful one. She agreed to talk to me for about 10 minutes. I was just about to start telling her how I feel like I'm mediocre at video production when my audio recorder died because I forgot to change the batteries. So we have to settle on listening to the camera microphone.
I'm having a little bit of trouble trying to follow you. I mean, is it basically you're feeling like you're not doing a good job with your film, or just in general, or you don't feel successful at what you're pursuing, or?
I think I don't feel fully successful with what I'm pursuing, so I think I wanna try to find a niche thing to do that I could get really good at, and then you couldn't look at me and say, oh, he's not successful in this. Talking to the consultant actually helped me gather my ideas pretty well. and I figured out what I want to be successful at. You see, 2 years ago at a grad party, I was challenged by my friend's mother to a swim race as a joke. You see, this was a joke because I'm a bad swimmer, and she was a junior Olympic swimmer back in high school. I realized that this was as good a time as any to put her challenge to the test. If I could beat her in a swim race, then there would be no denying that I was at least a successful swimmer. So I scheduled a time to meet with her and make the arrangements.
So my name is Jody Hooper. I was a USS swimming, nationally ranked. Swam the nationals and then in Florida, and then swam the summer nationals in Tennessee and made it to the JOs, which is Junior Olympics.
And you still swim recreationally a little bit to this day, not as hard.
No, yeah, I'll jump
You
in my
have a pool right here.
Yeah, I'll jump in my pool.
When you did swim for like nationals, what was your go-to, movement with your arms? Because I know there's different ones, right?
My event was the 400 IM, so I was a butterflyer.
Can you show it to the people who don't know what that is?
The butterfly?
I don't know what the butterfly.
So it's just like when you're taking
How do your
both
shoulders
arms,
do that?
they roll. Take
Are they
both arms
supposed to?
and then yes,
Am I doing it?
kind of.
Do you like this shirt, by the way? It's
I do.
pool themed.
It is. I love it.
You-
And then once you made an event, you weren't allowed to shave.
Shave?
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to shave?
Nope.
Like your legs or?
Nothing. So once I made nationals, say it's in November,
Yeah.
I couldn't shave until nationals.
Why?
Drag. And we used to wear like 5 or 6 bathing suits.
Oh, to help. Oh, it was training.
It
I
was
didn't know
training.
if it was like a kinky thing that the coach wanted.
No.
I had my friend shave my back one time. I was doing a drag show, and I didn't want my back to be hairy. So do you think if I were to beat you in a swim race, it would be, nobody could deny the fact that I would be a successful swimmer?
Yeah, I think if you beat me in swimming, you'd be successful.
Because it would be hard to beat you, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you seem like you're good at it, so.
it's been a while.
Right. But like, you know, like the technique, I'd have to start from scratch. So if I were to beat you, nobody.
You would be a swimmer.
I'd be a successful swimmer.
Yep, you'd be a successful swimmer.
Jody and I settled on a 100-meter swim race that would be held at the end of the month. This way, each of us would have some time to train. Jody certainly had the upper hand on me considering that she knows how to swim. But luckily for me, while I was making a program for my local television station about a nearby pond, one of the lifeguards brought up how they do swim lessons for children. Although technically, at the time of filming this, I was a 19-year-old man, I would consider my swim level child. So I called the town hall to ask if I was still eligible for these lessons.
If you're looking for like one individual lesson, I don't know how that would work, but you might be able to just arrange something with them.
Okay, great.
Does that answer your
Yeah, no, yeah, that definitely does. Awesome, yeah, I'll do that, thank you.
Yeah, is this Boston?
Yeah, this is, yes. How you doing?
I thought I recognized your voice. And when you said making a film, I figured, okay, it's got to be Boston.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing your big scoops, we're gonna pick up our feet and kick with our feet. So we're gonna start-
on my knees.
Yeah, but you're gonna pick up your feet from your knees. You're gonna push off, and then you're gonna do big. Yeah, there you go. But instead of doing that kick, right?
Huh?
Instead of doing that kick, like when your feet go like this, we're gonna do flutters.
Okay.
We're gonna do flutters with our feet. Yeah. Wanna try that? Like right above your.
Right here? That's like above my knees.
Okay. Yeah, and then just straighten out and just keep it there and just kick. Do you want to hold on to this so you're just focusing on the legs?
Yeah, I think that would actually help.
Don't do any
Because I have
hands.
I have a screw in my knee and patella tendonitis in both of my knees, so I don't know if that could be it. Because the tendonitis is what affects my knees, like going like up and down like that when your leg goes like that. I just got an MRI again like a few days ago, so I don't know.
Is it getting better?
No, it's actually getting worse. That's why I got the MRI.
3, 2, 1. Alright, you won.
Oh, I won! I won!
Yeah, and that was 9 seconds.
I was feeling a lot better about my race after my swim lesson, especially because Jody messaged me that she broke her toe and it wouldn't be healed by the time of the race. I continued to practice what I learned at my lesson all the way up to the weekend before the big race, and that's when something horrible happened. Jody's genius boy of a son decided that he was going to get himself a job at NASA to work on rockets at the young age of 20, and he had to move across states the following weekend. The following weekend, which was our swim race, which was also the last weekend I was going to be home before school started back up. I started to freak out. I couldn't go back to school mediocre. I needed to start actually being successful at something. And that's when I remembered that Jody told me if I was going to beat her, I would need to swim faster than 1 minute and 15 seconds. Technically, I don't need to have Jody with me to become a successful swimmer. All I need to do is beat her time. So I called my good friend Brian up to bring me a swim cap and shave my body. He forgot the swim cap, but he did do a good job shaving my body.
Let's do like 1 minute and 20 because you can't dive into the pool, right? Do you think that's probably fine?
I think that's fair enough.
Because you were a swimmer.
I was.
Do you think that takes out 5 seconds?
Yeah.
Ish.
I mean, if you push it off the wall, it should be cool.
Okay.
Ready, set, go.
I hopped into the water, Brian counted me off, and it was go time. I gave it my all. I was kicking and splashing for my life. Honestly, for my life. I'm so bad at swimming, I felt like I was gonna drown. I was gasping for air. I think my form was all off. I don't think my swim instructor would be proud of me whatsoever. And, well, afterwards, I found out what my time was.
How you feeling, buddy? Remember, there was no goggles, no swim cap, no Speedo.
Well, it's 2:30.
Yeah.
Do you think if I had goggles, a swim cap, and a Speedo, I probably could have beat it. Like, I could have dropped the full 1.5 minutes, right?
I think there's no doubt in my mind.
It wasn't like my performance or skill, right? Just probably the elements at hand.
I think, it wasn't a sunny day.
Yeah, it's not that sunny out. There's clouds and stuff.
Yeah, there's clouds, so it wasn't. There's no clear skies.
My swim instructor that taught me how to swim.
After I was done making excuses of why I didn't do good, I decided that I wasn't just gonna sit on my butt and let this be. I figured the main reason why I did so bad was because I had no competition. There was no one there that I could see ahead of me that would push me to do better. And that was because Jody's son had to go get that impressive job at NASA. One would claim he's pretty successful in his field. So now I've been beaten out by a successful swimmer because her son is so successful too. Well, I wasn't going to let this slide. I don't think getting a job at NASA is even that hard, and I was going to prove it. I picked up a science kit about some space bullshit and put it together in record time.
Got it.
Can you do a countdown?
3, 2, 1.
It came with a little card saying that if you completed the set, you were a future astronaut.
So.
Now who's the scientist, Jody?
Yeah. Jody Hooper's son. Nice job getting into NASA, but I'm gonna be a future astronaut. I called NASA to inform them of my accomplishments of becoming a future astronaut, and I asked if this would make them consider hiring me. Hi, my name's Boston.
B-O-S-T-O-N?
Yes.
Okay, Boston. Do you know what your AUID is?
Oh, what's an AUID?
Your username?
Oh, I decided to get a KiwiCo build and learn astronaut kit, and I was able to build the solar system and the rocket ship, and I got a little certificate that said it's my name, and it says and now I'm a certified future astronaut. So I just wanted to see if there was any any job opportunities.
Okay.
I
can transfer you over. Give me 1 second. You said you built a what now?
I built a KiwiCo build and learn astronaut kit.
A QV?
KiwiCo. I was left on hold for well over an hour, and just as I was about to call it quits, somebody picked up.
Once the hiring freeze is lifted, which I have no idea when that'll be, all of NASA's jobs are always posted on usajobs.gov.
Okay, great. And so would you say, I don't know if they told you any of my information, I just made a KiwiCo astronaut kit. That's probably something that that would help me get like a jump on the job search at NASA, right?
I don't know. I would assume that kind of experience would help, but it does also depend on, your other experience, your education, things like that.
Right. Okay. Just because the kit did give me a certificate that said future astronaut.
Cool.
Now, technically speaking, I did fail because I wasn't able to get a job at NASA. But also technically, the lady on the phone said NASA isn't hiring right now, so no one would be able to get hired. I'd call this a 50-50. I wasn't able to beat Jody or her son, so it's a good thing that she has a husband who's a successful Ocean Spray employee. Now, I know nothing about growing cranberries, but I do know that Ocean Spray also makes cranberry juice, and I own a blender. The plan was simple. I was going to make cranberry juice out of frozen cranberries and bring it to an end-of-the-year summer party for taste testing.
More.
You want more?
Okay, ready? Wait, is that a sober drink? Can the two sober boys have some?
The drink ended up getting mixed reviews. You want some?
That is fresh fruit, top of the notch. It's so good. It's so yum.
But I feel like overall it went well. That is until I got home and my mom showed me that in my haste to make the juice before the party, I accidentally bought frozen cherries, not cranberries. Which means I was left with yet another 50-50 win. With only 5 days left before I moved back into college, I was incredibly glad to have remembered that Jody actually has another son. I was less glad when I found out that he was a lawyer because there was no way I could learn how to do all that in 5 days. But then I found out in his free time, he is a DJ. This news prompted me to create a dance club song and music video with the help of my girlfriend and her friends.
Oh, somebody her vibe? No.
The fuck
Take
did I
that
just
off.
do?
I don't know what the heck. I don't know.
Ooh, dancing at the club.
Okay, go.
Club.
Wait, play the song and sing the club.
Action.
Was it good? Or should we do it again?
Can you just fall on the ground?
Yeah.
I uploaded the music video and TikToks the next day and waited for the praise to roll in. Yeah, that's. Do you think I could be a DJ maybe?
Why not?
Well, my grandparents and Emma saw me as a successful DJ, but not too many others agreed. I ended up back at college, just as mediocre as I was when I left. But something weird happened when I got back. I didn't stop making mediocre sketches. In fact, I made a whole lot of them. I even ended up directing my first real mediocre short film. And I even did some mediocre sound operating for my good friend Diego's Halloween variety show. And then at the end of the semester, I ended up creating a mediocre Christmas special with all of my friends, where I mediocrely produced, wrote, directed, and edited a lot of it. We even had a little mediocre screening at the school where 20 people showed up. And then as soon as I knew it, the semester was already over. And I thought, why? Why did I do all that stuff if I knew it was just going to be mediocre? Why wouldn't I spend my time doing something else? The semester was such a blur of mediocre projects that this one got pushed to the side. But early on in the semester, while I was working on the Halloween variety show, my local TV station posted a program that I made for them during the summer. It was about this genealogy club at my library. I watched it back because by the time it was posted, I had honestly forgotten all about it. While I was watching, I noticed something peculiar about one of my family members.
Samuel Cutter, the tenor, has enjoyed this distinction of connection and leading roles with many prominent operatic organizations.
Wow.
So, there you go.
I wanted to know more about this Samuel guy because he seems to be the only person from my lineage that also went into entertainment. So I asked my grandfather to give me any information he had on him.
I was making that late cam thing about genealogy where I first called you, and I learned about the Samuel P. Cutter guy in our family and how he used to do different acts for different shows, and I realized that it kind of sounded like he, from what the lady was telling me, what we found out was that he kind of was all over the place with what he did for like entertainment, but he was an entertainer that would get jobs as an entertainer.
Broadville, I believe it was, something like that. He traveled and he acted in those circuits, but he also, if they called him and they needed a comedian, he would do stand-up comedy. When my mother was just a child, he'd bring my mother to shows, and she'd play the piano while he sang and danced. He did a wide variety of things.
So to your knowledge, he actually made a living off of doing that?
I believe that's how he made his living, from what I understand.
The talk with my grandpa was pretty eye-opening. Sure, Samuel Cutter was never the first choice for entertainment, but he still went to entertain. He wasn't doing it for the praise of other people. He was doing it to make himself feel fulfilled. I ended the call with my grandfather because I had to do one last thing.
I thought you were going to ask me about fantasy football. That I'm very...
Are you doing good?
Oh, I'm 2-0, 2 wins. I'm undefeated.
Nice.
Season's young.
Yeah. Is any... who do you have on your bench or on your lineup?
I had to tell Jody the truth about my obsessive behavior surrounding her family these last few months.
So I wanted to call to talk about the time that I got in the pool. It was around 2 minutes and 30 to 45 seconds.
I don't know how.
What do you mean?
yourself.
Is that bad or good?
No, it's not bad.
But it's not good. So it's mediocre.
No. Oh my god, how do I say this without...
You can just be honest with me, Jody.
No, I don't want to be honest with you.
Okay, so now you're gonna lie.
like,
I don't want you to lie to me. You're gonna lie.
Okay, let's just do an example, right? So if you were swimming as an 8 and under.
As an 8-year-old?
Yes. Okay.
That was a good time?
No.
It's a bad time for an 8-year-old. Okay, it's okay, Jody, because look, I have to be real with you. I knew that time was pretty bad, okay? I got out of the pool and I didn't feel too good about that. After I got out of the pool, I realized that maybe what the problem was is that I wasn't swimming like next to... I had no competition, you know? At no point I could lift my head up and see that you were not there. And you know the reason why you weren't there? Because your son was so successful that as a 20-year-old, he got a job at NASA. So what I did was I went and I bought myself a model solar system and a model rocket that upon So after I bought the solar system and model rocket set, I completed it, and at the end of it, my little book from Kiwi Co. Productions said that I had a certificate. Your husband works at Ocean Spring. I was left to your last. I don't know how to grow things for the first time ever, but I do have a juice. And I realized I could make some killer So then I called my grandfather and I asked to hear stories about Samuel P. Cutter, and I found out that maybe he wasn't too good of an entertainer, but he was just good enough that he was able to make a living off of it. So...
You're gonna make me cry.
That?
Yes.
But yeah, so I just wanted to let you know that after I realized that I failed, if we had swam together I would have lost. I just tried to do everything that like people in your family are good at, and I didn't do too good on that. But now that I know that there's a guy in my family who kind of sucked at other stuff, but made a living out of kind of sucking, I feel better about it. And I just want to say thank you for showing me that it's okay that I suck at most of the stuff I do.
Oh my god, no. 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 No,
the Hooper
I'm not
family
gonna let you say that.
The Hooper family showed me that it's okay that I'm bad at everything.
Oh my god, no.
That's the moral of the story.
No, it's not.
Jody and I bickered for a few more minutes trying to figure out what the moral is.
But, okay, so what did this really teach you?
That I like to make videos.
Yeah.
And then we said our goodbyes. Until 3 months later, where we'd run into each other during Thanksgiving break at CVS while I was buying tampons. I guess if this whole thing has taught me anything, it's that you can't measure your success based off of what other people like. Because then the most successful video you make will end up being you throwing up while singing Puff the Magic Dragon at an open mic. The only way to truly measure success is if you believe in yourself. And if you have an older woman friend who believes in you too.